America has responsibilities all around the world, and we're glad to embrace those responsibilities. And, yes, sometimes we have a political system of our own and it can be easy to lose sight of the long view. But we have been moving forward on our rebalance to this part of the world by opening ties of commerce. And negotiating our most ambitious trade agreement, by increasing our defense and educational exchange cooperation. And modernizing our alliances, by participating fully in regional institutions like the East Asia Summit. Building deeper partnerships with emerging powers like Indonesia and Vietnam. And increasingly, we're building these partnerships throughout Southeast Asia. Since President Johnson's visit here to Malaysia in 1966. There's perhaps no region on earth that has changed so dramatically. Old dictatorships have crumbled. New voices have emerged. Controlled economies have given way to free markets. What used to be small villages, kampongs, are now gleaming skyscrapers. The 10 nations that make up ASEAN are home to nearly 1 in 10 of the world's citizens. And when you put those countries together, you're the 7th largest economy in the world. The 4th largest market for American exports, the number 1 destination for American investment in Asia. And I'm proud to be the first American president to meet regularly with all 10 ASEAN leaders. And I intend to do it every year that I remain president. Now, one of the things that makes this region so interesting is its diversity. That diversity creates a unique intersection of humanity, people from So many ethnic groups and backgrounds and religious and political beliefs. It gives Malaysia, as one primary example, the chance to prove as America constantly. Tries to prove that nations are stronger and more successful when they work to uphold the civil rights and political rights and human rights of all their citizens. That's why, over the past few years, Prime Minister Najib and I have worked to broaden and deepen the relationship between our two countries in the same spirit of Bekerjasama that I think so many of you embody. But our strategy is more than just security alliances or trade agreements. It's also about building genuine relationships between the peoples. Of Asia and the peoples of the United States, especially young people. We want you to be getting to know the young people of the United States and partnering. Well into the future in science and technology and entrepreneurship and education. One program that we're proud of here in Malaysia is the Fulbright English Teaching Assistant Program. Hey, there we go. Over the past 2 years, nearly 200 Americans have come here. And they haven't just taught English, they've made lifelong friendships with their students and their communities. One of these Americans, I'm told, was a young woman named Kelsey, from a city in Boston, the city of Boston. Last year, after the Boston Marathon was attacked, she taught her students all about her hometown, its history and its culture. She taught them a phrase that's popular in Boston: wicked awesome. So that was part of the English curriculum. And so her students began to feel like a place, that this place, Boston. That was a world away, was actually something they understood and they connected to and they cared about. They responded by writing get well cards and sending them to hospitals where many of the victims were being treated. Partnerships like those remind us that the relationship between nations is not just defined by governments. But is defined by people, especially the young people who will determine the future long after those of us who are currently in positions of power leave the stage. And that's especially true in Southeast Asia. Because almost 2/3 of the population in this region is under 35 years old. This is a young part of the world. And I've seen the hope and the energy and the optimism of your generation wherever I travel. From Rangoon to Jakarta to here in KL. I've seen the desire for conflict resolution through diplomacy and not war. I've seen the desire for prosperity through entrepreneurship, not corruption or cronyism. I've seen a longing for harmony, not by holding down one segment of society but by upholding the rights of every human being. Regardless of what they look like or who they love or how they pray. And so you give me hope. Robert Kennedy once said, "It is a revolutionary world that we live in." And thus it is young people who must take the lead. And I believe it is precisely because you come of age in such world with fewer walls. With instant information you have the world at your fingertips, and you can change it for the better. And I believe that together we can do things that your parents your grandparents, your great-grandparents would have never imagined. But today I am proud that we're launching a new Young Southeast Asian Leaders initiative. To increase and enhance America's engagement with young people across the region. You're part of this new effort. You're the next generation of leaders in government. In civil society, in business, and the arts. Some of you have already founded nonprofit organizations to promote human rights. Or prevent human trafficking, or encourage religious tolerance and interfaith dialogue. Some of you have started projects to educate young people on the environment. And engage them to protect our air and our water, and to prevent climate change. Some of you have been building your own ASEAN-wide network. Of young leaders to meet challenges like youth unemployment. And I know that some of you have been spending this weekend collaborating on solutions to these major issues. And over the next few months, across Southeast Asia, we're going to find ways to listen to young people about your ideas and the partnerships we can then build together to empower your efforts. Develop new exchanges, connect young leaders across Southeast Asia with young Americans. So that's part of what we're starting here today. And before I take your questions, let me just close by sharing with you the future that I want to work for in this region. About where we want America's rebalance in the Asia-Pacific to lead, about the work we can do together. I believe that together we can make the Asia-Pacific more secure. America has the strongest military in the world, but we don't seek conflict, We seek to keep the peace. We want a future where disputes are resolved peacefully and where bigger nations don't bully smaller nations. All nations are equal in the eyes of international law. We want to deepen our cooperation with other nations on issues like counterterrorism and piracy. But also humanitarian aid and disaster relief, which will help us respond quickly to catastrophes like the tsunami in Japan. Or the typhoon in the Philippines. We want to do that together. Together, we want to make the Asia-Pacific more prosperous. With more commerce and shared innovation and entrepreneurship. And we want to see broader and more inclusive development and prosperity. Through agreements like the TPP, we want to make sure nations in the Asia-Pacific can trade under rules that ensure fair access to markets, and support jobs and economic growth for everybody. And set high standards for the protection of workers and the environment. Together, we want to make the Asia-Pacific and the world cleaner and more secure. The nations of this region are uniquely threatened by climate change. No nation is immune to dangerous and disruptive weather patterns. So every nation is going to have to do its part. And the United States is ready to do ours. Last year, I introduced America's first ever climate action plan to use more clean energy and less dirty energy. And cut the dangerous carbon pollution that contributes to climate change. So we want to cooperate with countries in Southeast Asia to do the same. To combat the destruction of our forests. We can't condemn future generations to a planet that is beyond fixing. We can only do that together. Together, we can make this world more just. America is the world's oldest constitutional democracy. That means we're going to stand up for democracy. It's a part of who we are. And we do this not only because we think it's right, but because it's been proven to be the most stable and successful form of government. In recent decades, many Asian nations have shown that different nations can realize the promise of self-government in their own way. They have their own path. But we must recognize that democracies don't stop just with elections, they also depend on strong institutions and a vibrant civil society. An open political space, and tolerance of people who are different than you. We have to create an environment where the rights of every citizen, regardless of race or gender, or religion or sexual orientation are not only protected, but respected. We want a future where nations that are pursuing reforms, like Myanmar, like Burma, consolidate their own democracy. And allow for people of different faiths and ethnicities to live together in peace. We want to see open space for civil society in all our countries so that citizens can hold their governments accountable and improve their own communities. And we want to work together to ensure that we're drawing on the potential of all our people. And that means ensuring women have full and equal access to opportunity, just like men.